Welcome back to my Mental Health and Crime channel. My name is Hoodoo London. I'm a licensed mental health counselor and a licensed cognitive behavior therapist. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the contents in this channel. Today, I'd like to talk a bit about the house going to be demolished within the next 1 to 2 days, I believe. And I wanted to discuss a bit about the evidence that could be inside the house itself, like the 3 unidentified male DNAs. If you'll remember, the defense attorney, Ann Taylor, asked for that. She said, we've been requesting for it from the prosecution and we still haven't gotten the evidence. And the prosecutor, William Thompson, wasn't very keen on giving that up. He said that we don't have it and the lab hasn't submitted it to us and such things. So I was wondering, let's start with the crime scene from the beginning. This is for entertainment purpose only. The whole crime scene was tampered with. The whole crime scene was not handled in a professional way. And that is no criticism. That is the facts. We did not see people going inside the house with gloves at the beginning of the case. It came to a point that the first couple of days it became kind of normal for us till we started realizing, hold on, this is not normal. In every crime scene, the crime tape is up. The forensic team, the detectives, everyone has on their gear, their gloves, everything. That is common knowledge, common sense. There's 3 unidentified male DNAs in this house. For some reason, the prosecution and the prosecutor are saying that they haven't received it. So they said we can't submit something we don't have, is what Mr. Thompson said. So is that any chance of Brian Christopher Koberger or anyone accused of any crimes getting a fair trial? It doesn't seem that way to me. Everyone's entitled to a fair trial. Innocent until proven guilty. What happened to that? Yes, they do have a lot of evidence, I believe, on Brian Christopher Koberger. I've never said that Brian Christopher Koberger is 100% innocent. There are times that your research and the way you think about the case leads you to believe that there could be a day or two that you believe actually he's totally innocent because it doesn't add up with the timeline and such things. But there are many times that you think about it, reality, that he could have been involved or done it and tried doing it with perfectionists. So that I take into accountability. I take into, at least I give it a deep, or not I give it, basically it's like I have it in my mind. That's what I'm trying to say. So it is important to weigh everything without being biased in a case. But most of the things just doesn't add up to. like Johnny Cochran said in O.J. Simpson's case, may rest in peace, he said, if it doesn't fit, then you better quit. This can't be just Brian Christopher Koberg who did it. In fact, at times I think, prove it to me that he's done it. Which is being fair. Prove it. We've been hearing about his whereabouts and all that doesn't put him inside the crime scene. Let's not forget that. It does not put him inside the crime scene. It puts him around the areas of the crime scene. And Brian Christopher Koberger has a lousy alibi. Nobody can deny that. Going out driving at night, yes, he could be. But what a coincidence. Do you have to come and drive in front of their house, near their house, unless you needed something? But these crimes, these quadruple murders happened between 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. That is what they said in the beginning. It's not something that I made up. That is the only thing that makes sense. Anything that came out in the PC and the affidavit and all, I believe was just changes to the first statements, which was the most important statements. Let's not forget, the chief himself did not believe that the two girls, that's Dylan and Bethany Funk, were witnesses. Do you remember that? He told the Fox News reporter, I didn't say they were witnesses, I said they were just there. So explain that. Make it make sense. There are things right in front of our eyes that doesn't make sense and we're supposed to let it go. But why have they come to the stage now that they want to demolish the house? That is something to think about. Why now? The house has been standing for so long. Why can't they just let it stand? Isn't that a bit strange? Let it stand. Just design it better on the top, like just put the construction material, a nice one. Because that space is actually not that needed right now. It's not like the university is going to start building a project or buildings or a memorial on it, at least not for now. That place needs to heal. And by healing is, I'm sure, getting justice for these 4 victims and their families. Why is everything such a rush now to demolish the whole house? Why would you want to do that? It doesn't make sense to me. That's why it sounds sometimes like a cover-up. And you start wondering, like, why are they doing it? Is it really necessary? I do understand, especially as a therapist, I do understand that it has haunting memories for the other students. It depresses them. It makes them feel sad. It makes them anxious. I do understand all that. I take into account of all that. But these are 4 young people who lost their lives. They deserve and they're entitled to their justice. Steve and his family and other families, like Xana's mother, do not want that house to go down. They want it standing. Of course, because it contains a lot of evidence, like the 3 unidentified male DNAs. Another thing I was thinking about is maybe they want to demolish the house because let's not forget, if the jury comes in physically to see the house, they will see the view of the Sigma Chi fraternity, Sigma Chi facing directly into Kings Road's bedroom, 1122 Kings Road's bedroom. And it was really sad that the The victims are young, but I wish they had on curtains. Because sometimes it's important, you don't know who is watching you. It's important to have curtains no matter what. It's about privacy, and especially there are some sick people in this world, so we have to be careful. It still interests me why Xana's father, Jeffrey, came and fixed the locks of Xana, or changed the locks. Either it was the bedroom or the outside door. I believe it was a bedroom. And that makes me start wondering, who was Xana sharing the floor with? And that's DM. So were they having difficulties? Were they having issues? Was there something going on between Xana and Dylan? Just a question. Because they're sharing a bathroom. They're sharing the living room. Was DM maybe upset that Xana's boyfriend was over often? Rest in peace. Why are they holding on to Ethan, his red Jeep, and his other vehicle? I believe it's his sister's. Not sure. 2 vehicles of his and his golf set. When you put all these things in like a puzzle, you start actually noticing it makes sense. Ethan had to be a very important target. And I believe the couple died much earlier than the other 2 victims. Unfortunately, I believe they were unalived around 2 a.m. to 2:15. You can hear it even in the grub truck when they're calling out and they're yelling out Xana's name. So I think they're demolishing the house so that the jury doesn't get such a good view from the inside of the Sigma Chi fraternity inside their house. Because that brings me automatically back to the 4chan. They've already predicted. They said that David L's room faces the front side of 1122 Kings Road. So when the lights go off on the 2nd and 3rd floor, they're going to do it. They're going to do it within 19 minutes. Let's not forget that. They said no phone devices, no electronics, nothing like that. We saw the 5 or 4 figures running. We saw the boys on Banfield. It's nice to see that other creators are now talking and catching up to the grub truck and Banfield, because at the beginning I was actually getting a lot of heat for those 2, and for number 9 putting something into Maddie's mouth, allegedly. And now all the people are giving me heat are actually talking about it themselves, which is good. It is needed, because in every case you're supposed to think about things in different ways. You can't get glued up to one thing. Like, behind my thoughts, I always think about Hannah Clee. And it down to me recently, I was thinking, I think we've all got it twisted. It wasn't Maddie and Hannah Clay, may they both rest in peace, who were having the bullying thing going on, allegedly. I think it was Kaylee and Hannah Clay. Because apparently Kaylee moved in June to 1122 Moscow, Kings Road. She did not live far away from them. That's what Kaylee's mother said in an interview. This is a small university. So many mysterious deaths have been happening in a very few years. And they don't want that to come out, although we've tried getting it out. The Haneke is what is important. Then we have that boy, Hudson Lindo, who was found in the creek after another fraternity party. Then we have the boy from 2011. He was found in the Paradise Creek too after a fraternity party. What goes on in these fraternity parties and these Greek lifestyles is important to note. We need to find out exactly what is actually going on. And the aftermath is really important. What have these students learned from losing their 4 loved friends? They haven't learned anything. The parties haven't reduced. The crime scene is now respected. By the students themselves. The parties just continue going. Everyone was ruled out too early. Jack Showalter's gone. He ran off from the first second. He went to his parents' cabin, and then later on it was said he went to South Africa. But there's nothing to confirm that. But he was ruled out. Jack D was ruled out. Everyone was ruled out within a couple of days. But Jack D was ruled out last. Every time I think about Jack D, I remember what the mayor said. Crime of passion. Was Jack Showalter stalking Katie? Was he the stalker? Because allegedly that night he was warned, or he was removed from, I think he was warned because the girls put in a complaint in the corner club that he was harassing them. And this is not the first time, and this is not the first girls who said it. He did not look happy at all that the girls left without him. They just want this house to be flattened down. They want to make it a ground zero. Are they trying to hide if there are tunnels underneath? Allegedly? Just a question. What is it that is so bothersome for them that they want to delete this whole house, flatten it? They don't want the jury to see that. That is not justice. Definitely not. The 3 unidentified DNA goes down with the house, because let's not forget, the prosecutor said he doesn't have it. Is that what they're trying to do? Get rid of all the evidence. But then this will be bad for them too, because they may end up losing the trial. It may end up being a mistrial. It may end up being in favor of the defense and Mr. Brian Christopher Koberger. Because if the jury have a reasonable doubt, that's it. The murder case was a very important case where you clearly could see that they let the jury come down, see the scene where the murders took place. Because obviously when you have nothing to hide and when you're doing a proper transparency, nothing could go wrong. Because you have the trust of the families, you have the trust of the public. It is really sad for the students to have the site there. I do understand that. But why the hurry? The court hasn't started. I thought the students care about getting justice for these 4 victims. But I guess I was wrong. It's like they just want to erase the whole memory that it ever happened. But that's not the right way. Wasn't it Scott and the dean who was saying that we promise you all that the house will remain as long as it needs to for the sake of justice? And didn't they say that they were here for the families? What kind of justice are the families getting if they're trying to take down the house? And I'm really wonder what Ann Taylor is up to. I hope she has a strong enough case for her not to be bothered and for her to sign it off that she wants the house down. Maybe she has evidence that it's not her client who did it. Brian Kohlberger's car pinged around those areas, definitely. I always try not to be biased. His alibi doesn't sit right with me or with mostly all of us. But there's still something missing. He didn't do this by himself. I believe this is a gang-related organization or something like that. This order came from the high aboves. This was such a trigger warning, bloody, quadruple site, full of red liquid. We have 2 surviving roommates who are there, who did not bother to call the police for 8 hours, but still had the time to summon their friends. Isn't that strange? People are walking in and out. When the 2 surviving roommates saw that, and allegedly they became, according to them, they became hysterical, and one almost fainted and was panting out of breath. Then some neighbors came along, people started gathering outside. 2 people went upstairs to Maddie and Kaylee, his bedside, and saw the tragical scene. Hunter came, took pulse allegedly when the 911 dispatcher was online. The 911 dispatcher said that there were multiple people on the scene. Put all that together. What was going on? This crime scene from day 1 was tampered with. Maybe Ann Taylor and her team are going to file for Brady Ziegler law. They're not getting the evidence they've asked for from the beginning. No road maps. Nothing so that the defense attorney can give her client a fair trial. Nothing makes sense, because this isn't Brian Kohlberger who did it by himself. I keep on saying by himself because I wouldn't say he's 100% innocent. There's 30, 35%, 40% my brain that tells me he did it.